So, if you don't already know me, or can't tell by my name, I'm Korean. It's only common knowledge that all my life I've been Korean, you know? I was born Korean, I'll live my life as a Korean, and I'll die Korean. But something about that used to make me feel so conflicted. And conflict doesn't happen without reason. In my opinion, conflict comes from exacted scratches, misconstrued words, and lit matches. And I can't tell you exactly when I started to feel like crap about being me, but I can tell you at which points in my life I felt like somebody was using my skin to strike a match. And one time was when I covered for my mom's shift for 10 minutes, and the customer joked and asked me if I knew how to speak English. When the kids at my middle and my elementary school asked me if the sandwich that I brought to school for lunch was made out of dog, if I was going to drop nuclear missiles on their homes, if they could make their eyes slanted like mine if they used a staple gun, and especially that one time that guy who sat across from me in the class said it would be so funny to ask me how it felt to be a chink, or Kim Jong-il's second cousin twice removed. And all these things were just one chink after another in my own armor and in my skin. Another day asking myself why I didn't look like any of my white friends. Another night standing in front of the mirror asking some god why widening my eyes didn't make them any bigger, and how such a flat nose juxtaposed with even flatter cheekbones could literally not be any more undefined than they already were. And it was just another moment asking myself how it was so possible to feel this uncomfortable in my own skin. And it didn't help at all to hear from practically every face around me the exact same thing, that it's stupid to run away from things like this, and that you just have to quit trying so hard to be someone that you're not. And the whole time that this was going on, I was thinking in my head, well, you aren't me, and you probably have no idea why these thoughts are running through my head in the first place, so I really don't think you have any right to tell me what to do. But the reason this hurt at all to begin with was because it was so true. And another thing that sucked was feeling jealous of people who felt sick for other reasons than being reduced to a cultural stereotype. And people who didn't shy away from everything that they were, like I was, from every aspect of my culture that I disagreed with down to the smallest things, like always having to explain why I don't have more Korean friends, like always having to explain why I don't know more about K-pop, and always having to explain why I always said I really hate being Korean, even though that's exactly what I was. But I really meant it. I meant every word, and I genuinely thought that saying these things out loud would make me a stronger person, so I said them religiously. But the funny and ironic thing about all of this is I've become exactly what I promised myself I wouldn't be. I'm perpetuating the anxiety I felt struggling to accept my own identity. And I've become the epitome of how unfair generalizations made about a proud people who grew from nothing to something could make them feel like they were nothing all over again. And the thing that makes me angry the most is when these assumptions are made about me, or just Asians in general. They continue to be made with such carelessness and levity that it's all just another reason why stereotypes continue to be ingested with hardly any gravity. And it's all another reason why we cannot expect anyone to be unable to discern skin tone from skin tone when our eyes see blood of different descent as different colors and not just red. And maybe I'm crazy and wildly unrealistic, but I can't stress that more. I can't stress more that if you were to cut me open, I wouldn't bleed yellow or exotic oriental or Asian fetish. My blood only colors itself human. And that's the amazing thing about being me. And it's the amazing thing about being you, and the person sitting next to you, and the person sitting behind you. The absolutely wonderful thing about being different and yet the same. And I know you guys all know what I'm talking about when I say that some nights and some mornings we feel like the weight of our sheets feels like the weight of the world. And sometimes we feel like we have all of this love to give, but we really have no idea where to put it, and we worry that we're not going to find somebody to give it to. And that makes me so proud of who I am as a human being with ideas who now knows everything that her history, her culture, and her people have brought to this life and to this world. And because I'm proud, I can actually promise myself this time that I can be a voice for the people out there who are still struggling to come to terms with themselves and the skin that they were born with. And I promise myself that I'm going to carry that on no matter what the cost is. And you have my word. So you know now that I'm Korean. And it's only common knowledge that all my life I've been a human being. I was born a human being. I will live my life as a human being, and I'll die a human being who's so proud of her ethnicity, her nationality, her race, and her culture. And maybe this seems really obvious, but there's so much more than what meets the eye. And just thinking about that makes me feel so humbled and so grateful. And I'm just so amazingly blessed to be everything that I am. Thank you so much.